Justin just called. He's trying to log in.
Okay.
Uh-oh, like father, like son.
Oh no,
We're in
nothing
trouble.
could be as bad as the father.
This is a night for trouble. What's happening with everyone's computer?
Mine started on vacation in North Carolina. All
Oh,
heck broke loose with this phone.
I'm
That's so
sorry.
weird.
And then it
Jack,
get
you're
real
not having
hot.
trouble, right?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
That's good.
Keep it
We
up,
like
Jack.
that.
And Pat, we don't know. Is Pat Ball Baltimore? I don't remember seeing
Oh,
the Baltimore in there.
that was from another call I
I
was
know
on.
she's coming. I saw her. She's coming.
She's on. It's just Jody was questioning the Baltimore, but I'm sure it's because of discerning deacons. They probably put their city on it.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
That's my guess, but that's just a guess.
And I'm still eating my dinner, so that's why I'm not.
oh,
All right.
Okay.
Take your time.
Well, you better not put you might better not put your camera on because it might be a lot better than what I had, and so I don't want to
Oh,
see it.
It
I
is
went
pretty
to this.
good.
Yeah, I went to this place this afternoon in Woodhome called Chopped, CHOPT,
Oh
and they like
yeah, yeah.
chopped stuff. It was delicious, and I just had all
Yeah.
these different chopped vegetables, and they
Mm-hmm.
baked the salmon and put it on the top of it, and they cut half of an avocado and and you just mush it all together. It's delicious.
ah.
Sounds
Nice.
good.
Got a little bit left over.
Very good.
All your veggies, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I like to try to start on time.
yeah.
Let's see who our first one is.
Justin, are you coming okay?
Yes,
There we go.
Justin.
There
Now
he
he's
is.
Yes,
on. All
okay.
right. Now we can start.
Now we can start. Tell him to unmute. There he
Hi,
is.
Justin.
Okay,
Hi,
remute now.
Hi, hi
Justin.
Hi,
everyone.
Good
Justin.
to
Thank you
see
so
you
much.
again.
Good to see
Sorry
you.
about the tech issue there. I meant to be here a little on time there. I apologize.
I
We're
thought
used
you,
to it
Right.
from your dad. No
are they
problem.
used to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we ready?
I think
Yeah.
we're ready to start.
We
Hi,
are.
Jerry.
Hi,
Hey,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey,
Hi,
Jerry,
and
wonderful.
you are wonderful.
Mhm.
The wonderful one is at the picture frame next to you there. Peggy, you give me the word and we'll start.
You go right ahead, Skip.
Thank you. Family, good evening. Just a reminder that we are recording, and I want to welcome all of you back and hope that you had a great Fourth and at least some of your summer relaxation, but there's more to come. Uh, Let us begin first with a prayer. Loving God, you are the ground of being for all that exists. Your spirit is the breath for everything that lives. Your Son is the exemplar for all humankind. As the song in Godspell says, help us to see him more clearly, love him more dearly, and follow him more nearly day by day. Help us to see and treat all humankind as one family and realize how everything we say and do to help anyone hastens the coming of your kingdom on our earth. Amen.
And
Amen. Thank you, Skip. That was great.
Beautiful. Good.
So
Now
I will.
Peggy's going to acknowledge on whose land St. Vincent's stands.
So we are gathered on the unceded land of the Piscataway peoples. I ask that you join me in acknowledging the Piscataway community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We acknowledge that this country was founded upon exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples, including those on whose land St. Vincent de Paul Church is located. This acknowledges and demonstrates a commitment to beginning the process of working to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. So, thank you all for joining us tonight. And during our January meeting, we had 3 guest speakers. One was Skip's son, Justin, who's here with us tonight. And Justin works out of the Mayor's Office of Employment Development in the Youth Opportunity Center. The director of that center also joined us in January, and they shared a little bit about Justin's new initiative. He works with many young adults formerly incarcerated, many of them, to improve their reading skills. It's a pay to read and report program. So we invited Justin back to tell us about the results he is getting. And maybe for those who missed you the first time, give a little background, Justin, if you would. So we'll turn it over to Justin.
Thank you again so much for having me. So yeah, just a bit of a refresher. I work for Yo Baltimore, that's Youth Opportunity Baltimore. We are a workforce development center. We're located in West Baltimore. We have recently celebrated our 25 years of serving the city. We specialize in out-of-school youth. That's between the ages of 18 and 24. Now, within special exemption from the Department of Juvenile Justice Services, that often can come down to 16 in our service range area. So we serve a wide variety of the city's out-of-school youth, and they're usually from some of the most underfunded and underserved neighborhoods. We provide core services of GED instruction, case management services, as well as access to mental health services and all other wraparound support services. We try to have contract services to make sure that our members really have access to whatever they need, be that, transportation or a housing connection or something along those lines. I work in the GED department. The pre-GED is my specialty, so I'm working with students who test in below the foundational level of skill and getting them up to speed and getting them ready to take their GED testing. Recently, through some very, very fortunate some very fortunate connections and some very generous people, we were able to fundraise some money to start a reading initiative where I was able to make a connection with some local book donators, the Maryland Book Bank, the Book Thing, and we secured around 400 free books of all genres, all types, all interests. And then the initiative has been able to offer paid incentives to students who complete any number of readings, especially those students who want to take on readings above their assessed skill level. So that was the initial proposal that I brought to my boss, Tavon. And because he is, Wonder Boss, he very much gave me the legs to run it down. And we just completed our first round of it and right before the start of the Youth Works programming for the summer. It was a really quite overwhelming success. Overall, we had 25 students center-wide sign up for the program, and of that 25, 15 completed readings. We have so far paid out around $1,500 in incentives to students who have completed readings, including a couple of really, really incredible success stories. One of my favorites is actually one of my pre-GED students who tested in with around a third grade or so reading level and wanted to tackle Edgar Allan Poe's The Mask of the Red Death after I really sold it to him about, and I mean, I had an absolutely incredible time with this young man coming in over the successive weeks and telling me that while he didn't really get the language, there were all these parts of the story that he was keying in on, oh, it's about a big party. And, oh, I get it. They're stuck up, but they don't feel that this is going to touch them, and we just had these incredible conversations, which was my deal with students on how I was going to check that they did the reading. I got through myself and my staff center members read pretty much everything we could so that when a student selected the book, we would be able to talk to them and have in-depth conversations because I didn't want to assign them an essay. I don't want to sort of give them like a chore about it, but I do want to be able to check that they did the reading. And luckily, I work with a team at Yo Baltimore when, I asked that this is what we were going to do, they all threw in. We really all discussed the idea that reading is something that has to be modeled. So on top of doing all of this reading, we also all carried novels around. We took our lunch breaks on site for a lot of the days. We kept books on our desk. We were open to having just, free and, spontaneous discussion with students about the things we were reading. We really wanted to show that reading is a habit, and it's not something we do just for, to pass a test, or even necessarily because we're going to get, money out of it. Although, our students are working, they're coming back, they have families. Many of my students are returner citizens. So, they're at Baltimore either as a condition of probation or parole. And so they come in with a real, they want to get their GED. And so they want to become better readers to pass the test. And the next hump is really getting them to simply read, because reading is fundamental. And so my center staff, my teammates really, really, really threw in. I wish that they could be here tonight, but they've been doing youth works for the past 15 days. They deserve a break. So of the members that were a success story, yeah, that's one of my favorites. We had some others. We had the center-wide success story is a young man named Corey. Corey, who has been attempting to pass his math test for the longest time with us. And we are still working with him to get over that hurdle. But Corey has pretty much become the superstar of the reading initiative, both because he is completing readings, consistently, but also because he's the real cheerleader for other students to get into reading. And while BookFin was absolutely incredible, they gave me a huge stack of graphic novels, which is wonderful. Corey has also been really, really, really instrumental in getting them to read outside of the graphic novel format, to take on long form fiction, to take on nonfiction works. It's really been really cool just to watch how that sort of organic peer-to-peer interaction has happened around literacy. So that's the sort of first round report. I just want to again say thank you so much for having me and my boss to kind of talk to you guys about what we're doing at Yo Baltimore. Yes, we really hope for any way that we can continue the program. My boss is such a lover of it that he's really looking at us like, so what are we going to do next year? How do we come back in the fall? So I'm hoping to come up with some cool ideas to wow him.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. Thank you so much, Justin. And we love how your efforts kind of align with one of our interests, which was trying to right past injustices and one step at a time. So in your case, it's kind of one book at a time.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Absolutely.
we really do appreciate it. And
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Sure.
Sorry, Peg. I thought you were moving on. Justin, do your kids ever read the same book and then have group discussions type of thing?
Yes, when we have multiple copies, what that allows for, it's easier to do that, I've found, with short stories. And so I've also included a whole bunch of short stories that are, thank God for the Gutenberg Library, and things like that. So yeah, when we do it, I really try to push for that, because group discussions of books, that allows them to see that we all can interpret art in different ways, and we can read things differently. You don't have to all feel the same way about stuff. So yes, the answer to
Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions?
You're muted. Dusty was trying to say something and she was muted.
Oh, good.
Oh, she's still muted.
One of the kids. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're kind
yes,
of
hear you.
light, but just maybe turn it up.
Turn up your volume. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I thought you said that referred to one of the kids who had a third grade reading level. And my question is, what kind of books do you tackle when you hit that story? Or, I mean, it's hard to get into books past, child level without being able to read above the third grade level. So that's just my question.
Oh, actually, so there is a wonderful world of these kind of bridge reader books and bridge reader series, and actually one of the best resources for that has been our local lit community, who again generously donated some books to my classroom, many of them because I came through school with them. But there's a whole world of sort of building reading skills books like that, and they are short in length, and they work on sort of introducing and then reusing vocabulary. One we worked with is the oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Pardon me, 1 second. Find my notes here. The Bone Light series. There we go. I'm sorry. Bone Light series is by a local author. It's kind of a fun, spooky novel series, yeah, that one works really well because most of my kids kind of like, or I'm sorry, students. I don't want to call them kids. They're, but many of them, the young boys especially. Now, for the young women that test in with lower level reading skills, I usually try to bridge into a novel or like a book or something like that, because most of the time I try to the pedagogue. Well, it's an andragogical class base, so I'm looking at what are your previous life experiences and how can I wrap those into your learning, right? Because adults want to know that learning makes sense to them, right? So for an 18-year-old girl, there's a lot of things where an 18-year-old woman, pardon me, an 18-year-old woman, there's a lot of things where I'm like, well, especially if you have a child, we're going to look at child rearing literature, or we're going to look at parenting books for my new mothers and things like that, right? And so we can get them into the reading of these things in a way that's practical knowledge for them. And then we start to bridge into larger and larger works. So again, the Maryland Book Bank was really, really, really instrumental in donating a lot of different types of materials for this initiative.
So you don't have students who really don't know how to decode, which is the basic skill.
Every now and then we get a student who has like almost like an absolutely elementary level of reading. At that point in time, we usually will try to refer out for like a special service, simply because my class differentiates is a little bit too high for me to take on that foundational work. Most of them, I would say the average level student comes in at around a third grade level or so.
And I will say, Donna Daniels, who supplies books for City Springs, so all grade levels, she's also been giving Justin books, correct, Justin?
Yes.
Gotten this. So she kind of knows too some of those books at all
Third
different
grade
levels.
reader books. There are a lot of great third grade classroom books.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
You have to pardon me. My AC is a little weak upstairs, so I'm sweating here.
so anybody else have any questions? Yeah.
Yes.
Rita? We can't hear you if
Can't
you're
hear
talking.
you.
Rita, come close.
We still can't hear you, Rita. You're
Turn
not
up your
muted, but
volume.
we can't hear you. Kind of what happened before. No, now you're muted. Now you're not.
Yeah.
Should have a button that has
Yeah,
the top
it's
of your
on the bottom of my
computer.
computer. There's something that looks like a speaker. And if I put the cursor on that, then a line comes up and it lets me increase or decrease the volume. Do you have anything like that?
Says audio.
Or it's just a picture.
Yeah, mine is just a picture like a speaker and then like
And it
sound
could be at the
coming out.
top too. Mine's
Yeah,
at the
it could be
top.
at the top.
Well, while we're waiting, Jack, did you have a question also? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Justin, there were a couple things you shared with me that I thought were just fantastic. And one was how one of the maintenance persons who always talked to you got all involved in this himself. Would you share that with us? I think it's just interesting just how widespread this thing caught on.
Yo, Baltimore is a real team family environment. We all really come together to get it done. That includes Mr. Leith, who is one of my absolute favorite people. I love that man. Mr. Leith has also I've been working with him on putting out his own collection of poetry. And so he's always in and out of my classroom, and he loves to come in during our reading language arts lesson and to get involved in the lesson. He loves to jump in about the books. Mr. Leith was one of the ones that was I think Mr. Leith helped me read the most books starting off, that initial jump off from Miss Daniels, who donated that initial shipment of books. Mr. Leith, because he helped me bring them out of my car, then sat in my classroom with me and cataloged them and helped put them around, and we started talking about which ones we were going to read, and we took a whole bunch home and came back the next day. Yeah. So yes, our maintenance person and janitor, is a part of the team as well, and he's been an instrumental a part of helping making the Read for Succeed, as we call it, initiative a success.
I think you also shared with me over the weekend some data about the success that made your director really happy, that tied directly to the program.
Yeah, I shared the metrics that of our. Sorry, pull this up again. Of our 25 students that enrolled, 15 completed, right? We currently have 9 that have selected new books and began new readings, that we've paid out 1,500 in initiatives. And those are the things, of course, my directors love to hear, because it means that students, completed these things and showed interest. We have people on staff that read, and again, it just sort of goes to show, like, we're into this sort of point in time in history. But I was talking with one of my coworkers, and he said before this he really couldn't remember the last time that he had read a book, right?
Oh,
So we have people on staff that even for this it's sort of like, oh, you reading again, let alone our students who this is the first time they've ever read a book, and to kind of read multiple books throughout a year, you know so yeah, I think that's the kind of stuff my director was very, very pleased to hear.
yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
So
Rita,
what,
I'm sorry.
Jerry,
So Jerry has a question. Rita, did you get yours working yet?
No,
No. Okay,
you
Jerry, go
can.
ahead.
I'm just so excited to hear about this, Justin. Thank you. And do you know one of the? I mean, I know that you know this. There's this like reward process. You reach a level and you get like a reward. Well, I've just been fascinated. As a 100 years ago, your dad and I had to read things like in high school, like Homer, like the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of kids, I mean, I know Skip never did this, but a lot of kids would cheat. Like when we had to read Romeo and Juliet, we would read abridged versions of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, if you get kids to read the abridged version of the Odyssey, and we all could help you take them to the movie if they read it as a reward, think what that would be, because this movie is like, it's only coming out today or tomorrow, and it's like bursting everywhere. If like you, so it makes it contemporary and it makes it ancient and it's classic, and I just thought, say you got 10 of your wonderful young adults to read an abridged version of the Odyssey, and then they got their reward was they got to go to the movie. I was just, I don't know, you want to keep thinking of creative things to impress your boss, and
I
Jerry,
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I
You
have
know,
to give you an amen on that, because when I was teaching at Edmondson High School, I had an 11th grade class that had never had Shakespeare. And the presumption was that they wouldn't stand still for it. It was an all-male class in a student body of about 4,000, all voc tech. And I just, as a teacher, couldn't be easy with them, never, getting through high school, but never having done any Shakespeare. So I took my 10th grade classes assignments. We were reading Romeo and Juliet, and I gave it to my 11th grade boys. And then it just so happened that West Side Story was running at a movie, and also Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet. So after we did all the study in class, I charged, you could get a school bus easily then on Saturdays from the city school system. So I chartered a bus from the city school system, and they met me at about 11 in the morning, and we went downtown to some theater, and we saw West Side Story. Then we had a little evening dinner break, and then we went over somewhere in Essex, and we actually saw Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, and it just was great.
yeah, it changes everything for them when they say, I read this, and then they see it, and
Yeah,
great
my
idea.
favorite story is one of the boys. We got to the scene where Romeo says, "If I profane with my unworthy touch this hand, these two lips as ready pilgrims stand." And then Juliet says something about hands kiss each other in prayer. He says, "Oh, well, then let lips do what hands do." And the bell rang, and one of my boys stood up. He says, "Man, you got to hand it to that Romeo. He got a mean rap."
Cute.
That's great. Rita, are any luck yet?
Okay.
If you, my phone's in the other room, or I'd tell you to call me and I could.
You
I
can
was
write it in
thinking
the
the same
chat.
thing.
You
Yeah,
can
put it
write
in
your
the
question in
chat.
the chat.
Good thinking. No,
Yep.
I don't think.
She
Okay,
or
can
never mind.
text the question. You
okay.
could text me the question.
Well, if you figure out you still want to, you let us know. Okay, we'll make it work. Anyway, thank you so much, Justin. We truly appreciate you. And I know that there might be some people who may want to make a donation to help advance the program. So if anyone is interested in that, let me know and I will get the information from Justin, unless you have it, Justin, and you want to give it now, how they should make a check out or what they should do, or you can send it to me and people can let me know that they're interested.
I believe I might have that information. Give me
Okay.
1 second.
Justin, it's a great program. Thank you so much. We're very excited about it.
Thank you so much again. And really, it has been absolutely our pleasure to put it on. Our young people are absolutely incredible. We really, really come to work every day, and it's a privilege to work with them. I tell my students all the time, they're the coolest people I know. So it's awesome to kind of see them take this on as well. For my students as well, it's like it helps them pass their GED, and that's the stepstone to so many bigger and better things that they've got going on out here. And it makes them feel more confident on the reading portion, and I like seeing that come to life in them. And so, and I'm a reader and a writer myself, so my classroom now has books everywhere. I love that. It makes me feel at home. So thank you again.
Good.
Oh,
Okay.
Did you
Well, we
find
all
it?
know that most of us were privileged enough to have an education and could go through 8th grade and through high school and through
Yeah.
college, and that wasn't the case for everyone. So we're just grateful that there's a program that we can help in a small way. So
Mhm.
if you want to hold that till the end, Justin, or let me know, we can.
Yeah.
Unless you have it right now, we'll go on and then you can just give it to me
No
later.
problem. Yep, I'll send it to you as soon as I find it. But yeah,
Okay.
don't wait for me. I'm sorry.
All right. Skip.
Thank you again.
Oh,
Our pleasure. Thank you.
good. Thank you.
Skip, did you want to introduce?
Yes, I certainly would. Next, we will hear from Mary Catherine about what is happening in the racial justice circle that she attends. And so, Kathy, are you ready to share with us?
And you're muted also, Mary Catherine.
She's,
when you
yeah,
Yeah,
they're muted.
I was just
There.
getting ready to unmute. Yeah,
Perfect.
our racial justice circle, we just had a meeting to plan the next time we're going to meet with the School Sisters of Notre Dame to run a series with them. But I don't think that's going to be until the fall. Summertime is not a good time to do it, but so we will meet with, then that'll be a lot of them from all over the country. And that's a very large, the School Sisters of Notre Dame is a large group. Yeah. And so what we usually do, sometimes we show some videos, but we always end up with having honest conversations to discuss racism. And we tell them ahead of time, the dialogue, how you do this and how you don't contradict one another or try to change anybody's viewpoint. You listen to one another and reflect on it. So we've been doing them, but not recently. During the summer is not a good time because people are away. But yeah, they can be very interesting dialogues, I'll tell you that, particularly when you show a video and then have people discuss what they've seen on that video. So yes, so we find them very meaningful. Sometimes we do them on Zoom, sometimes we do them in person. I know the one with the School Sisters of Notre Dame because some of them are in Canada and different places, so that will definitely be a Zoom one. But yeah, so that's what we will be doing in the fall. Yeah, so and then they many times stand on the corner. Peggy's to come to those too for Black Lives Matter rallies. Yeah.
Mary Catherine, with the school Sisters of Notre Dame, it seems like everybody would be on the same page. But I know with Honest Conversations, sometimes it's been with people who have different views. Is that, are you expecting?
People do have different views. Yeah, definitely.
Even with the sisters, you think they will?
Yes, yeah. Depends where they're coming from. I know that Sisters of Mercy, many of them are from Mobile, Alabama, and they had grown up with a lot of racist ideas from living down there. So you can't assume just because they're sisters that they're on that page, particularly if they grew up in the southern states.
Are there people of color in the circle?
Yes, we do have a few, just a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, does Tony does she
Yeah,
lead it?
Tony, she's a person of color.
African American.
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
Question.
Dusty, you have a question?
Yes. Is that essentially the Archdiocese contribution to this effort? Because I tried to get in touch with the Archdiocese about another question and nobody calls back and nobody seems to know. So my question is
they were a part of it in the beginning, but I don't think they're much a part of it anymore. But yeah, at one point they were a part of it.
And how did you get the Sisters of Mercy? How did you recruit them or tell them about what you're going to do? And were they all over the country?
You mean the Sisters of
I
Notre
was
Dame?
a sister. I was a Sister of Mercy at one point, and I worked for Mercy Hospital for years. So
okay.
I have strong connections with the Sisters of Mercy. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So in line with Dusty's question, so anytime, so it's the group that picks the audience, shall we say, or the next group to discuss racism? What is that how you do it, or?
Well, sometimes they come to us, that they hear about it and they want to do it. And sometimes we go to them. So it depends. Can be either way.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate the information, Mary Catherine. And I'll probably talk to you a little more off this about that next thing to see if there's any avenue for this group or any discussion in there. So
Yeah, Mary
ahead.
Catherine, I was wondering, because of the composition of the group, what would impede the conversation? Too many people from outside, or what are some outside people invited, or, what are the thoughts on that?
People from the outside, I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, like who are not in religious life, like not nuns or something.
Well, the groups that we're doing, like the school sisters of Notre Dame, they will all be nuns when we do that group, even though they're from Canada or different parts of the U.S. But they all will be SSNDs. Some people ask us to do a group,
Okay.
Like St. Mary's down in Annapolis.
They
have asked us to do groups with their church. Yeah.
Have you done it with them?
I haven't gone down there, but other people have done it with them. Yeah.
Okay.
So the variety can come in the different groups that ask for the service, and whom you work with as you do your work. That's pretty interesting. That's good.
We attempted a couple of years ago, right, Skip, when you had that friend in the archdiocese that was in charge of the I forget her name, And we had said we'd love to do something with other parishes. And we had some come to the town hall back in whatever year that was,
Quite a
Mhm.
long time ago, we did do something at our parish,
but
but
not
we
a
just
lot
had,
of people.
we only did one group. We didn't do the four. We usually do it in like 3 or 4 groups, sessions. We don't do it all at one time.
Mm.
We'll spread it out.
And how-
Right. Well, we're going to hear from Dusty, which will kind of lead into the same discussion a little bit, I think. But Dusty, you had a question first?
Yes. How do they find you? How do they, I mean, do they go to the archdiocese and say, what do you have going on here? How do they find you except word of mouth?
I guess it is word of mouth, or they've heard from somebody else about it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Or you may have approached some of these groups, Mary Catherine.
Yeah, we do approach
Yeah.
groups to do it, yes.
And Mary Catherine, do you have a presentation or is it all conversation with the group?
Well, we have videos that we show,
Okay.
and we give the guidelines about what dialogue is before we even start, so they know what that is. And that what's comes up in that room stays in that room, you know, that type of thing.
Sure. What type of videos?
Well, we have different videos that we show part of. We don't show the whole thing. That have things they can discuss. Like one of them is a woman in a grocery store and how she's being treated by the person at the counter. And because she's a person of color, she's treated one way. Yeah. And then the person behind them is her sister, but she's a lighter skin and she's treated completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mary Catherine. And Dusty recently attended a retreat with the Oblates, and we asked her to share a little bit of what she heard. You may remember that we learned more about the Oblates during our education period way back when, and also when we were working to get canonization on Mother Mary Lang's sainthood. So we learned a little bit more about the Oblates at that time, but I will let Dusty tell you more. Dusty?
Well, actually, it was simply a retreat the day before Palm Sunday. And it wasn't about racial justice per se. It was, and it wasn't about I guess it was about the cause of the canonization of Mother Mary Lang, but that wasn't really the focus. It started with prayer, with, Mass. I'm sure that you all know Father what's his name, Chisholm, what's his first name? Greg Chisholm. He's the superior of the Jesuits, and his homily during the Mass was very much about his experience. And then there were 2 other speakers. I think both of them were connected to the St. Francis School, and they also told their stories. But the presentations were interspersed with discussions, and it wasn't focused on or didn't have anything to do with racial justice. But what occurred to me was what a great venue it is for something like that, for people to see what it is, to see who they are. There's plenty of parking. And as someone who was formerly of St. Ignatius Parish and saw the great education bit that the racial justice group, I'm not sure their exact title, did at St. Ignatius, and then years later joining St. Vincent and going to your meeting last time and seeing what you've done since you've sort of moved on from the education bit, but that's never order. I thought, what if the parishes in the archdiocese who began this work and have been doing this work had an opportunity to see what one another have done and what was successful and what wasn't. Anyway, it was basically about the venue, and that was my question. I saw what St. Ignatius did, then I saw the different way that St. Vincent proceeded, and I thought, has this sort of died out. This effort sort of died out, lost momentum in the other parishes? And if so, did they really want to see what might have worked? So I was hoping to be able to get a list from the Archdiocese, if they had this kind of information about parishes that had this group like ours. That was simply the idea, sharing information. And I was thinking about the cause of Mother Mary Lang. I had been a docent at the Mother Seton House. That's when I discovered Mother Lang. It was such an interesting question. And I went to a seminar, a whole day seminar about it. This was years ago. But I had my question about, is this the best way to spend your energy? To work for the ordination of someone, because I was reading about what his name is, I think Walter Chiswick, and recently he's from Pennsylvania somewhere, and the whole cause was stopped basically because they ran out of money. And I mean, I think they didn't have the witnesses that were required as well as, but this whole process costs money, which it shouldn't. And that made me question. It's basically questions. I basically have questions. Is that how best to use the resources? Resources, banging on the doors of the Vatican. So I have all sorts of questions, and I just thought I'd bring my questions to this group.
Anybody like to venture some opinions on the questions she's raised?
Yeah.
While you think of that, I was just wondering, Dusty, were you able to get in touch with the Archdiocese's Office for Black Catholics?
They don't return my call. I've left.
I'm not surprised. It's
They don't return my emails. They don't return my calls.
interesting.
So that's why, I mean, Mary Catherine's group, I think Mary Catherine, that started with the Archdiocese. Is that correct?
Know if they have anybody there anymore in that department. They had somebody.
Well, they have
But
Adrian, I think, is still there. She was there
Really?
when they were doing Seek the City. I don't know if she's still
Okay.
there. And when they did that training for multicultural training that they did, it was like a 2-day thing, and people from all parishes all over the city went to it. I went to it from St. Vincent's, and she was active in that. Now, again, that was probably 2 years ago now, so it could have changed. But Skip and I went to the previous one, who he even had a relationship with, to say this was years ago, we were at the education. Well, we had moved on, we had picked SBCLT, I think. So we said we would be happy to share like our education. Why should people reinvent the wheel? We'd be happy to share all of our videos and give presentations. If any parish would be interested, we would be happy to do that, kind of like our town hall that we did at St. Vincent's. And they never took us up on it.
Well, I don't mean to be negative, but I have to be in a way. I spent 2 years working at the Archdiocese when I left public schools. And it was only 2 years because, for one thing, things moved entirely too slowly. 8 hours felt like 12 there. And so I don't know what to say. I mean, I've seen a lot of initiatives begin and die. Bishop Lewandowski had something going in the whole area of racial justice, and we had a committee, and we were repeating a lot of stuff that had been done, including history, and histories that had been written about Black Catholics in America. And then, like, once he left, everything just died.
Mary Catherine, did your circle begin with the Archdiocese, or did you develop some group, some people that came together and did it on your own?
No, it didn't start with the Archdiocese. No.
Okay.
I was wondering about so maybe going through the Archdiocese, if that isn't working, what about just if emailing all of the parishes, in the area, and just saying, we're interested in getting together and discussing what different parishes might be doing to, talk about racial justice or to work for racial justice and just see if there's a response. I mean, even if only two respond, maybe that's two more parishes. I don't know.
That's what we were actually thinking, but before we go to that, Jody, Mary Catherine, how many parishes are represented in your justice circle? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know, but there's quite a few. I don't know whether
So-
it's 8 or what, but there's quite a few. Yeah.
Mhm.
We were thinking that would be an inroad to some of these
Yeah.
other parishes. And we also have, I guess you all saw the announcement that there will be a new hire at our churches. And so it's kind of one of his jobs will be outreach. And I guess I kind of wanted to talk to him about some things too when he came on board, he or she. The interviews haven't happened yet. I think some of them will be next week. But yeah, I agree, Jody. Any other ideas? Because maybe we just have to do it ourselves and invite people. We did that for the town hall, but we didn't really get that many from other parishes. I know St. Ignatius was there and Chris McCullough was there, but I don't really think he was representing the cathedral at that point. I think he just came on his own.
He's
could
not
make a-
doing that anymore. He's not with the cathedral.
Right, but I mean, I don't think he even was representing them at the town hall. I think he just came as a person. So I mean, it could be that that's something we should just take on, and that will be our our next thing to plan.
And maybe we do a eye-catching little thing for all the bulletins and send it to the parishes and say, can you put this in your bulletin? And then even if there are people that are interested, even if there's not a racial group in their parish, there might be a couple people. Like that's how I got into human trafficking.
Right.
So I mean,
Well, that's what we did for the town hall. We put it in different parishes.
oh,
We
I
put it in their
forgot that.
bulletins. We sent the flyer to them. And the flyer also included that Bishop Lewandowski was joining us because he did, his little thing. So anyway, anybody else want to have some input or questions or yay or nay or yes, we should proceed or forget it, it's too much work or, what are the feelings out there? Pat?
Um, well, both Mary Catherine and I are part of a nationwide group, which has a chapter here in Baltimore of Catholics in Communion. And their goal, the purpose is to give witness to Catholic social teaching and make it prominent in people's lives. So, and they have a list of all the parishes and people that might have contacts in those parishes. And we're going to be starting a campaign in the fall where we will be putting a blurb in all the bulletins that we can about some element of Catholic social teaching. And so, it's a resource that we might want to take advantage of. There is a leader of our Baltimore Catholics in Communion group, Joan Rosenhauer. And I'm going to the week after next. I am going to the national meeting of Catholics in Communion in Chicago. And the purpose of that meeting is to come up with strategies for, advancing our cause and our mission. So I'll hopefully be coming back with lots of strategies.
Wonderful.
That,
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure would be appropriate for what we're doing here
Yeah.
as well. So,
Well, piggybacking on that and what Dusty said, for the different parishes, it'd been nice to hear what things are happening in other places. And I know Dusty conveyed to me that our support of SBCLT it's actually something that we're doing something and not just talking about Black Lives Mattering. We're actually doing something to make their area, their neighborhoods matter. So other places could be doing the same thing, or maybe we can piggyback on your group, Pat. I guess they wouldn't pick the same thing. We're not going to have people in Colorado that want to support SBCLT, but they could look for a neighborhood to support and really make a difference. Or they might have an idea that we say, hey, we could try that here in Baltimore too and make a difference. So I think combining those two things, that would be great.
Yeah.
My basic question was simply, in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, in the parishes, has the whole thing lost steam in the 5 years? That's what I want to see, where is it? It's just to figure out where this has gone by asking what parishes have done and what has been successful and what has not. It's just getting that information.
And Dusty, if they have lost steam, it may very well be that a few of them might want to join with us in contributing for SBCLT, because maybe nobody in, Chicago wants to, but hey, if these parishes if there were people that were actively wanting to work for racial justice and then it kind of petered out, they might really want to hop on board.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
think if you have
thought.
someone at the top who's very well respected, as was Bishop Bruce, and who really keeps the visibility up there, you seem to get a little more steam and cooperation from other parishes. Otherwise, it sort of seems parishes can go their own way because there's nobody really bringing focus from a higher perspective who's really keeping the issue alive. So that's one thing. And I also think that the whole growth in the abuse scandal just kind of seems to have washed out a lot of other initiatives that were going on.
Well, I don't think that we can overlook the Seek the City process. And I think that's been very influential in this whole thing, and people losing steam and energy around social justice issues because parishes feel betrayed and and many of these parishes are people of color.
Oh, yes.
Around Seek the City. So only happened in the last 4 years. And and then Bishop Lewandowski left, among other things. So we have the Seek the City process that I think we can't miscount. And we have the clergy sexual abuse crisis that is still not resolved in this diocese, and the lawsuits, the worst or the best is yet to come, depending on your perspective on how they're going to settle that. And so I don't think that these things are not important and they're not valuable. I mean, I'm excited about Kathy and Pat belonging to these two organizations. And Dusty, that might be hopeful for us. And we just might need to do what Peggy and Jody are saying, just like shake it up and let other parishes know. We just might have to shake it up a little bit and say, don't let all of this good stuff die.
Yeah.
And if I
Liz?
I was thinking also, another thing that we have is City Springs, which is a wonderful story.
Yes.
With a great success and interpersonal involvement that is could be a model for other parishes. And when Justin was talking, I was feeling that City Spring vibe. It's kind of the same thing to be here and use our energy for something. And it's a person to person thing. And I think that's to our credit and to the school's credit. And that's possibly maybe something that we could look at.
Yeah.
Because I'm very impressed with it. I'm part of it. And I think that it's very powerful. And again, it's a one-on-one thing, which is the most basic you can get, which is really valuable. So I don't know where we go from there, but that's just something that two things that we do well, that and SBCLT.
It kind of supports Dusty's saying, parishes need to share what they're doing. So, yeah.
Yes.
Anne, were you
Mhm.
trying to say something before?
Well, I was just, as Jerry was talking, she was itemizing all the things that, to me, it's the elephant in the room. It's the archdiocese that's collapsing, and therefore all these programs are collapsing as well. So I agree with Jody, we just need to take the initiative and stir it up ourselves. But I'm wondering, once you get these people together in a room, I mean, what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? I mean, what's the goal? So
Yeah,
you got to have something concrete.
absolutely. And our last one, it was a lot education, and that was kind of why we wanted to put it out to all the parishes, because we had heard that a lot of parishes were not discussing racism at all. They just weren't even discussing it. You weren't hearing anything from the pulpits. And so that was kind of most of our goal at the town hall, I would say. Don't you, Skip and Jody, think that was mostly our goal?
Yeah, because if
Was
you recall, Peggy, we actually, among our recommendations, recommended that the bishop, through an encyclical or whatever, basically encourage priests to talk about the subject, and include in their homilies and all. So we had a list of recommendations.
right. And we sent a letter to the archdiocese, to the
Mhm.
archbishop, giving our recommendations. And yeah, as Skip said, that was one of them. So, but our main focus was definitely on education. And we did have SBCLT there too, didn't we? We, at the end,
We did.
We did.
because
We
we had
did.
told them that that's how we
did.
then picked.
Right.
But if we piggyback and using Dusty and Pat's group to have an opportunity for parishes to share, I mean, everybody could share positive things. I don't think we should spend a whole lot of time on education, because I think most parishes have probably done that. And if they haven't, we can offer them stuff that would get them, they could have our 6 years of videos if they want. And
Yeah.
but to hear what other parishes are doing, and maybe other parishes in Baltimore, as Jody said, would be interested in supporting SBCLT with us, which I think we're all still very positive about, especially after touring, seeing what they're doing. So,
And I love what Liz said about,
Right.
there's plenty of other grammar schools around that the other
Yeah.
parishes that are close to them could be supporting in the same way. So, at least we have, and then with Justin's, we really have three really powerful stories, ideas, ways to support. And that I think other parishes, if there's anybody in there with a spark of interest, there's three different diverse things that they could either be a part of or start something similar.
Yeah, and I have to say something about our group too. I really think that our little family here is a remarkable group of people. And I think it was really important that we spent a year, as we did, learning what structural and institutional racism really meant as terms in life, so that we came out all in one accord, realizing that whether it's the criminal justice system or the legal system, which is inadequately funded to really defend people who have no means, or whatever you name it, there are structures that perpetuate injustice and prevent equal opportunity. And then with that, our whole attitude when we went to SBCLT, when we said we want to work with you, we want to work under you, we want to work for you, but we want to work within your leadership. And I remember what I heard that Melanie Thomas said was, well, if you come with that attitude, we want you to join us. And we actually had a person on the board. But I think it was going there with that kind of humility and sense that we didn't have all the answers. We weren't coming to give you the answers and fix you. We were coming to roll up our sleeves, however you tell us to, and pitch in. That made all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The story I
Good
want
point.
to tell. That's the story I want to tell. And St. Ignatius was interested in the City Springs thing. I didn't get to talk much. I just really wanted to. They'd done such a great job on the education bit, and I really wanted to see if they proceeded from that into something like St. Vincent is doing. That was my whole thing.
Yeah, it's like the next step. Now that we see better, what do we do? Yeah.
And maybe they're ready for that if they haven't taken it yet.
We could even have an invitation to a parish and have someone come with us when we go, if that's all right with the school, as a kind of a shadow to see what we do in the class. An experience thing. And maybe then they could get some ideas about that.
Yeah.
But again, our initiative. But again, it's a one-on-one, person to person, which is really powerful.
Definitely. Robin? We can't hear you. We still can't hear
Still
you.
can't hear you.
Anne's coming to save you. We had a lot of technical difficulties tonight. Well,
Like, this is it, yeah.
While she's
There she
fixing
is.
him. Try again, Robin. It won't work if you don't speak.
It's a button, but
And now we hear you. Just
Now
make
we
it a little louder.
we can, yeah, we just started hearing you.
Just a little louder. We can't hear you now.
okay, is that any better?
Yes.
It's
That's a
getting
little
better.
better.
Keep coming.
You alone?
Closer to your mic.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we
Yes.
can hear you
Yeah.
now.
It's just sort of a sidewards suggestion. I spent a good part of a time previously before coming back to this area, and I ended up working with a congregation that was 1/3 African American, 1/3 African Caribbean, and 1/3 of everything else. And I found in the time that I was there, there's a hymnal called Lift Every Voice and Sing. I don't know, have any of you seen that hymnal by any chance?
What's
It
it
was
called?
Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Oh, that.
Like their Black national anthem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that hymnal was in these pews. And I asked them, I said, have you been using this for a while? And they say, yeah, we use it. And but when I found out later that a couple of people came into this particular church who had been jazz musicians in New York, let me tell you, something happened. Because the whole attitude and the vocals, if you, as a matter of fact, your hymnal, your blue hymnal, I believe it is, has a lot of the same songs, but the people who are generally comfortable with the traditional songs in the Roman Catholic Church don't come up. And I think if you could find a way to expand on the breadth and ask people of color, especially of all kinds of color, what are your favorite songs? I mean, guide me, lead me
Lead me,
along the
yes.
way.
Lead me, guide me.
Lead me, guide me.
Yes.
That to me needs to be in every Sunday because
Yes.
it says my favorite philosophy on the Trinity, that is that we have the Creator, we have the Teacher, and we have the constant companion. And so in that frame, we have to listen to the people around us and we have to listen to their background, because when I was in that Southern church, a lot of their generations before were slave people, and they embraced totally different songs. And I think if you mix it up a little, given all the people of color that hang out around your particular church, you'd think they would be saying, finally. Anyway, it's just a thought.
Thanks, Robin. I do want to mention that I said we probably shouldn't spend a lot of time on the education, but I think Skip's point about the structural, I think a lot of people who think they know racism don't understand the structural piece. So I think we still probably would need a little bit of that. But So is there anybody who thinks we should go a different path other than maybe trying to organize something to get other parishes here so we can see what's happening in other places? Any other ideas or thumbs up if you think that's a way to go?
I think it's a way to go. It wouldn't hurt to revisit some of those topics, especially the ones on implicit bias. I mean, that was just such a powerful presentation that Jody did. In fact, there was, I'm not licensed, or I'm getting ready to unlicense myself in Maryland as an RN, but one of their requirements is that everybody has to go through an implicit bias workshop to renew their license this year. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really cool.
Interesting.
It's
Really?
just, it's an area that, people are just, they need to have reminders, and they need to be, I don't know, grabbed, in their heart that, this is real, and we all suffer from this, and we need to be
Yes.
able to recognize it.
Yeah.
Amen.
think-
And I remember when we began, we all, and that we includes me, talked about the fact that we were biased. We had biases,
Right.
for different reasons. Yeah.
It's
Well,
quite unequal.
you talk about the nuns who were raised in, in the South, and the implicit bias that they have, and I know that I have it too. And just to be able to, really be convicted of that and become aware of that. We just need to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I thought it was so powerful that it was such an equalizer, because the blacks were biased too, because that's
Yes.
exactly what they see in our culture.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing that impressed me was the book, The Black Butterfly, and the speaker that talked about that. That was really a turning point for me, because I've never realized any of this.
Yeah.
And we probably could revisit that topic in some way. I mean, it is still necessary. And how many people are not aware of this?
Yeah.
That was a real treasure. That whole period of time when I forget the name of the author who.
Lawrence T. Brown.
Okay,
It's because I think what we're going to have to do is consider the audience. So whenever this group gets together, we're going to have to see who's represented and what their, at what
History.
extent we may have to split up into groups, people that, haven't been studying it for years. But yeah, I mean, these are all good points. Actually, Dusty is next in line for the Black Butterfly book. Now that you mention it, Liz, I told her I'd bring it just next time I saw her. It's funny because that was so important to me too, that Black lives can't matter unless Black neighborhoods matter. And that's why we decided to find a neighborhood that we could support. So I thought that was a critical turning point also. And the bias was so, as Jody said, equalizing. It just, we don't have to feel guilty about it. We have bias, period. So now what do we do about it?
But, one thing that will be an additional rock that we'll have to deal with is, as Jerry brought up earlier, the real bitterness that exists in a number of the Black parishes, that this whole Seek the City initiative and the way it was implemented has created. And to the point where I reached the conclusion that the discussions and all that we were going through trying to save our family, our church family, was a process that maybe all the churches that had been marked for evaluation and study and potential closure should have had the opportunity to go through. And one result of that is they feel like St. Vincent's was made an exception, but they all never even got a chance, that kind of thing. So that makes it even harder. But to me, the flaws of the process have really made things more difficult in terms of parishes understanding one another.
Yeah. And as Jerry pointed out too, I mean, it's not just the Black parishes. A lot of people are struggling. So, but all we can do is work with what we have, and we need to if we want to make change, we need to be the change makers. So,
But Peg, I think it would be important to, like, if Pat would come back and give us a report on Catholics and communion, because
oh yeah,
I think that's so exciting. I didn't even know like that existed. And she said they list all the parishes and they have contacts, and it's all about Catholic social teaching.
yeah,
And they're meeting in
That's great.
Chicago and only in weeks. So if our
great.
if Pat's willing, she could bring us back some of those ideas on strategies and
Great
we
idea.
would organize, I think. I just think that's exciting. There is something that exists out there.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah, that's great. Pat, what's the date of your meeting?
The 28th to the 1st, the 28th of July to the 1st of
Oh,
August.
good. So it would be before our next meeting then.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be
That would be
great.
great.
Would you be willing to come back and discuss it with
Sure.
us?
Yeah.
Super.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
And any other ideas or thoughts?
Okay.
So nice to
Dusty,
see you all.
yeah, and Dusty, thank you. Your question raised a rich, thoughtful discussion and a lot of ideas about things we need to weigh in terms of moving forward. I also wanted to tell the family that the times that Jody and Peggy and I have met, we've been trying to come up with ideas as we look forward. One of the things that we thought was a great kind of family builder was the couple of times that we had movie night, and we did it in different formats, either down in the under church where we served a light meal and we watched a movie and brief discussion, and the time that we were in the rectory and saw that. Mary Hennigan has been really praising this movie called Daughters of the Dust, which relates the story of Black women in the Gullah area of South Carolina and how their culture was able to survive and actually survive what really was something that could have killed it, which was the Great Northern Migration, when so many African Americans were leaving the stifling conditions of the South for what they saw as a land of opportunity as they moved north. And she really couldn't say enough about that film. So we were considering at some point in the year having a movie night or two just as a team builder and giving us something more to consider. And especially here's an area where a very distinct part of an African culture actually was able to survive all the attempts of enslavement to wipe the slate clean when it came to the enslaved.
Good thought.
I do appreciate Jerry and Pat. I know they were supposed to go to the seminarians talk tonight, so I appreciate that you guys came.
Thank you.
I was thinking before the next meeting, maybe since it sounds like a lot of people may want to hear Pat, but they won't know about it. So if everybody could kind of maybe discuss it with a couple people and bring them along to our August meeting. That date, it's the third Wednesday, so that will be the 19th of August. But that we need to, if we're gonna actually do something pretty exciting, then I would say we need a lot of help too. So that would be great. Although we do have the town hall notes, we can pull those out. Anyway, thank you all. You're such sweethearts. Go ahead, Skip. Sorry.
No, you've said it, and I said what I wanted to say, which was to get that in and just tell you all how very, very special you are as our family. And then I think we can invite Robin to close our evening for us, Peggy, with a prayer.
Perfect.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. It's rather a long poem, so I kind of go towards the end of it, but I think you'll hold on because it's repetitive and I think it's worthy of meditation. Many of you don't know it, but my email address is meditationmeister@gmail.com. So I think thinking about things, and that's why I like the Trinity expression of the Creator, the Teacher, and the Constant Companion, because my favorite phrase is prayer is more about listening than it is about asking. So I'll continue with the Scraggs poetry. Hold fast your dreams. Dream of the future of which you will be a part, for dreams project you into the cast unknown. Search for those things that add richness to your life and depth to your living. For life is fullest when richness and depth are found in searching. Hold fast your dreams, dreams of peace, of love, of service, and of truth. Dreams of children remembering the simple things that make childhood wonderful. Dreams of violets in the spring, roses in summer, and acorns in the fall. Dreams of frost and snow, ice and sleet, and high winds whistling through the trees. Dream! Dream of sun and showers, blue skies at noonday, awakening dawn and shadowy dusk. Dream of all the joys of nature, for nature holds not half from anyone. Hold fast to your dreams, and through your dreams reach heavenward and touch the hand of God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, Robin.
And if you have want a little surprise,
One
Yeah.
world telling our story in word, dance, and song, sharing one earth, our island home. Oh, that's a bumper sticker you were talking
bumper
about.
stickers, yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
Great.
Love
Well,
it.
thank you for inviting me.
All right.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you.
all. Hey,
Thank you, family.
every month. Thank you
Take
all.
care.
And I'm going to stop the recording. So
That